Good evening, Frankmeisters. What is going on with you guys? Another eventful day in the Delphi community with the objection by Nick McClelland today. Here we go again with my camera getting all blurry. It'll adjust itself. But there it goes. He responded to their motion in regards to the judge's decision to deny them third party. We'll go over that later in the show. But I got a treat for you guys today. We'll get to that in just a moment. I'm going to jack through the chat real quick and see who's all here. We got Nevada Tan, Curious Petronian, Polar Bear, Phil Bond, Big Fish, Julie Nolan, Roxy, Queen, Cindy, Purple Haze, Lois, 6-3 Clocks, Ruckus Rocks. What's going on, buddy? Fire and Ice, what's going on, Frosty? Delphi Dummies, Grab It, good to see you. Scarlet Letter. Who else we got in here? Olivia 2, Boston Christian. Delphi After Dawn. Rescue All Dogs. The Real Dragon. Good to see you, bud. Mommy Wolverine, Shane Constantine, Joe Newman, Kyra, Miss Jinx, support with Steffa, Karen, Robin, Carrie, good to see you. Mustang, Truth Seeker, Junior Johnson, Rob Lee, Mar R. Trying to get to everybody as quickly as possible because I don't want to take up our guests a whole lot of time with him. It's SP74, Melissa Wildcard, Audrey, Sleep Reloaded, Lakeside, Lala, Leslie, Metal Mama, Amelia, War Kittens, Ben, Daily Survivor, Diddums, CJK. All right, that's it. Now there is, I am not monetizing the channel tonight, guys, because I know this gentleman is going to be our guest. I've been on a show with him before, and this gentleman does not hold no punches. So if there's anybody that comes into this chat that wants to talk shit to the gentleman, I gave him all permission to get right back in your guys' asses. But there is going to be a 3-strike rule. You'll get a warning, a second warning, and the third time, you're out. You hear that from my mods? Marv from Beyond the Evidence, good to see you. Cynthia Guente. So like I said, I know there's a lot of haters toward this gentleman. And if you want to give him shit, he's going to give it right back to you, and I'm going to allow him to do it. So this gentleman is an Asatru practitioner. He's an Army veteran, which I would consider him a brother in arms. So further ado, everybody give a warm welcome to Mr. Patrick Westfall. Patrick, good to see you, buddy. How you doing?
Yeah, man. An intro like that, I feel like I should have come running down the aisle with people fucking.
Well, your name's been coming out a lot of mouths here lately, bro. So I thought, well, hell, let's give him the introduction that they've been giving him. You know what I mean?
Appreciate it.
So, how you been, man?
Day to day, nothing special, nothing fancy. I mean, can't bitch about nothing. Who'd honestly listen, you know?
Right. So, how's the family? How's everybody taking everything that's going on?
Well, the kids are starting to get a lot thicker skin, you know, with sidewall asshole comments towards them. And
welcome Kristen behind the crime door, Patrick.
there she is.
Yes.
Hi, guys.
Hi. Go ahead,
How
Patrick.
are you?
We're good.
Sorry I'm late.
You're fine.
It's been a
we were talking about that backstage. He said, "You know how a woman is."
Oh my God.
Said, yeah.
It has been absolutely crazy today for me. I have had one hell of a day. Let's put it that way.
But I was just talking to Patrick and asking how he was doing in the family and everything with everything that's going on. And to let everybody know, he does not practice Odinism. It's called Asatru, and he will get to that and explain what Asatru is and what they actually are and what they do.
I don't really think that there's. First of all, I just want to say something. Odinites, it's a rock. It's a geological rock.
Yeah.
You know,
whoever coined that goddamn phrase to start with, I mean, props to them. They caused a lot of shit with that, but I've never heard that term before in my life.
And it's like, I don't even really think Odinism is a thing. I mean, I know there's people who profess to practice it, but it, you know, it's a more of way they live. It's not, I mean, I wouldn't even go as far as calling it a religion, but it's just so they have so abused this
misrepresentation
and misrepresented this in this case.
Mm-hmm.
And just let me say, Patrick, thank you for being here. I am really sorry from the bottom of my heart that you have had to go through what you've gone through in this case. I am floored that so many people are willing to smear people's names, and I don't care what your past is. I mean, I've seen your live streams that you did with Sleuth, and he's my good friend, and I watched, and you say some of this stuff you said about yourself and all of this, and you know, you're not on trial here, and what you believe is not on trial here. How you live your life is not on trial here, and you know, people can stand in judgment of you if they wish. That's fine. I don't, you know, whatever. But what the state has, not even the state really, I mean, the defense attorneys, the defense team in this case has done to you and the other men that they named in their Frank's motion, I think is absolutely ludicrous. And it's really a big part of what's wrong with our justice system, because you really don't have a huge recourse in what they've done. And they've slandered you. They've absolutely drug your name through the mud, and your family, you know, your kids, everybody that is associated with you. And I just want you to know that I, as Kristen behind the crime door, have always spoken out that I thought it was wrong of what they were allowed to do to you guys, because I just think it's terrible.
I want to add something to that also. I would think that 99% of the people in my chat feel the same way.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. Our channels are so much the same when it comes to how people view this case, and you know, the facts are the facts, and they don't have any evidence that places you guys anywhere near this place, and yet they tried to put it out there, and now we have people who believe it. You know, the people that believe conspiracy theories and all this other stuff, they believe this about you, and I'm sorry for that.
Now, if you want to continue,
these kind of people, they need somebody to fucking hate, talk shit about. They're probably miserable in their own damn lives. If it wasn't me, it'd be somebody else. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I got thick skin. It doesn't really bug me that bad. I mean, it does piss me off to a point, you know, the impact it's had with my family and social life, and
it's a horrible
in general
thing. It's not like you were accused of ramming somebody's car or you know, breaking into somebody's house. It's one of the worst things you could possibly be accused of doing.
And the bad thing about it is that his children are the ones they're going to have to deal with.
Yes, that's what I mean. You know, they're going to point fingers. His dad was, you know, the guy.
Oh yeah, you'll fucking, long after I'm dead, you can Google my name and it'll still pop up that bullshit. My kids will be the one having to carry that. And the worst part is that was my kids' friends from Delphi. Those girls were my kids as friends. You came and say that shit in front of my kids, and you still don't see it in their face. And it's been this many years later. You know, my oldest just had a kid a few months back. My next oldest just moved out and got his own place with his girlfriend the other day. I mean, they're two of them are fucking full grown ass adults now, and you say that shit, and you can still see it in their face, the expressions they had 7 years ago when it first happened, because these were their friends from school. I mean, lived down the street from us, and
Right.
you know.
So you're a practitioner of Asatru. Give us
Yeah,
a summary of what Asatru is and what you guys actually do.
Asatru is just mainly it's very old European religion, Northern European religion. You know, its roots started out in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
You know, before it was Odin, it was Woden.
Right.
And it traveled across Europe. You know, the majority of any Europeans out there today, this is what their ancestors thought and believed until, you know, Abrahamic religions came out of the Middle East and slaughtered their way through Europe and converted everybody, you know, under threat of sword or spear or, you know, shit like that. It's there's different tiers of gods, you know, the Assyrian and the Venerian and the Roker gods, you know, top, middle, and bottom. And, you know, those that, you know, are friends to the old gods of the top tier, you know, the Assyrian gods, it's Asatru, which means true the Assyrian gods. Odinism is shit that, you know, more people keep coining that phrase and using that phrase when they're talking about this stuff, the more they keep pushing this skinhead Nazi hate crime bullshit, because Odinism is what, you know, your Aryans and your Saxon Knights and other prison skinhead gangs, that's what the version they practice. You know, it's like Baptists and Mormons. It's same
Patrick,
overall shit, but it's practiced differently.
Let me ask you a question now that you just brought that up. Do you think it's absolutely asinine that they said that Odinites or Odinists, whatever, committed this crime, and what you just explained is, you know, white Aryan brotherhood, what, you know, whatever the terminology is for the people in prison that practice this? What do you think about them sacrificing 2 white girls? Does that make any sense?
There's nothing.
Does that
even
make
if you're
any sense when you're talking
no,
about white supremacy?
you'll never see anything about some Asatru, Norse, Germanic, Teutonic religious beliefs sacrificing anything from historical documents in the past. You can probably drum something up, but you've never heard of it anywhere near modern times in the past, and it'll never be something you'll ever hear about in time in the future. It has zero to do with Asatru or any the belief in the Germanic or Nordic, you know, faith or anything. It has sacrifice, has nothing to fucking. I mean, you know, there's people that might do an animal here and there for, you know, when they're getting ready to run their fields or do anything like that for any kind of good luck during the crop seasons, maybe, but
sure.
No. This whole human sacrifice shit is such an off the wall,
that's because
asinine thing. This is what happens when modern TV is allowed to run amok.
Well, see, this is what happened at the 3-day hearing. You had Dr. Perlmutter claiming that there was an actual ritualistic sacrifice in 2020. And I laughed and I said, well, you can't even name the person that happened to you. You don't even know where it happened at. You don't even know the results of that. So why are you bringing this up and you don't have no results?
Yeah, I mean, there is no case, you know, point to a case where there has been ritualistic sacrifice of children and you can't. There isn't one.
Yep. I agree with you.
Don't tell me that this was the first one.
Now.
Yep. Like I said, this is TV. This is the Hollywoodism bullshit. This is extreme. When too many people watch the fucking TV show Vikings and Sons of Anarchy, and they think they're fucking experts on things they have no idea about. They've never put a fucking, let alone a foot or a toe in that world. And they're like, well, I'll watch fucking seasons 2 through 7. I know exactly what the fuck. No, you don't. You don't know anything.
Now, we do know that at the beginning of this case, within a few days, there was word of Odinism brought into this case, okay? From that point on, when that happened, when were you brought into this as far as the prosecution and law enforcement looking at the Odin angle?
I had no idea that any of that shit was even something that was out there, or my name was even ever muttered, mentioned, or wrote down on a piece of paper until that fucking Frank's memorandum came out the end of last year.
Okay,
And since
now,
my interview with the FBI at my house, days or weeks after the actual, murder happened, that was the last time I'd spoke to anybody, heard from anybody.
was you living in the area in Carroll County at the time?
Yeah, I lived on Charles Street right next to Canal Park.
Okay. And now my understanding is that you had surrendered some DNA.
Yep. As soon as they asked for it, I had some state cop get a hold of me, asked me to come to the post on 43 there off the 65 exit and shit in West Lafayette, and coming to talk to him, and I did.
Patrick, you voluntarily gave your DNA?
Yes.
Yep. I gave them the DNA. They didn't need no fancy paperwork, no other bullshit. They asked for it. And, at that point in time, I still had no idea that memorandum was due to come out in a month or whatnot. I figured they were just, continuing to follow up on this and that. And so I was helping them any way I could. They asked for it and I gave it to them. Then they asked if I'd come back and do a polygraph, and I did happily. So.
And you got
do you remember who polygraphed you?
No, Vito was the detective I was speaking to.
Was it a woman?
No, it was a guy.
Okay,
it was a guy.
I just wondered.
Because there's a polygrapher that was killed her and her daughter from ISP in a house fire that they considered arson, and she's the one that was polygraphing people for the Delphi case.
And the Flora
it was a guy.
And the Flora, yes. And that's why we asked.
And that's why that's why I was kind of curious.
Right. So when this all took place, have you been contacted since Richard Allen has been arrested?
No.
By the defense team? Have they subpoenaed you or anything?
They've subpoenaed me 3 or 4 times at this point. And the first one I went to was out in Delphi, and they brought me up in the witness room up there on the 3rd floor. Tried to walk up, and actually one of them tried to walk up and shake my hand in the rotunda as I was walking through, and I just kind of stopped, looked at his hand, looked at him, and turned my head and kept on walking, fucking laughing at him, because after the shit they pulled, they're going to walk up and act like we're some kind of fucking college buddies and want to shake hands and regale about times past and kiss my ass on that. And we sat down at the table, and before they got to really going into any kind of questioning, I told him flat out, I was cooperative all the way up until this point, until you assholes did what you did and threw my name out there accusing me of being a fucking kid murderer, and so you guys can essentially kiss my ass. I'm done cooperating. I'm done playing your little freaking games. And
what did they say?
What
was their response to that?
Oh, that room is so quiet you could hear the crickets out in the fucking courtyard.
Have you had any contact with Brad Holder?
No, not since I told him to get the hell out of my house back in 2016, 2017, whatever it was, 2017.
Right.
I haven't heard a word from him. He had shit at my house. He had a book bag and had some like leather working tools in it and other shit that he carried around with him, and he never even came back to get his stuff. I even told him it's here. You can come get it. You're fine. Ain't nothing going to happen to you. Just get your shit and get on down the road. And he never responded back, texted, nothing. I haven't heard from that man in years.
Served together, correct, in Afghanistan?
Yeah. Our company broke off in a bunch of small little groups and went to different places all over the area and the region of, the host province in Afghanistan. And he was part of the group with me that went out to the Garbuz district, and we were there together for the entire deployment and shit. That's what throws me off the most. I never had any idea that my name was ever mentioned in anything, let alone come out of his mouth the way it did, until that memorandum came out. And then the rabbit hole kept going deeper and deeper, and come to find out this man is just absolutely being a spineless little fucking squid and shooting his little ink out, throwing my name is he's trying to wiggle away from something.
So to reiterate, since they've named you in their documents here in the last 6 months, million times, they have not contacted you since then?
Not any kind of law enforcement investigators or nothing, just the asshole defense team sending me those subpoenas trying to get me to run around and play their little fuck games. But
Okay.
like I said, I went to one and the rest of them I didn't go to.
Well, we had talked about that. I said he's not going to go to those.
Nope.
I made that very clear in the last few shows. Patrick will not go to those.
Yep. I went to the first one just so I can tell them all to,
I don't
kick
blame you.
rocks.
I don't blame you at
They-
all.
They tried to hand me a stack of cash money and another subpoena that day in Delphi, and I left
What?
the cash on the table. Yeah. For traveling fees and all the other shit, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
they have to. Yeah, by law, they have to. Yep.
Wow.
Remember that document?
So I left it on the table, and he ran around the table and picked it up real quick and stuck it back in his pocket, and I walked out the room and left everybody just kind of sitting there staring at the wall.
Damn.
So you've been ignoring their subpoenas.
Yeah, no, just not ignoring them. But I get a subpoena, and 2 days later, they're expecting me to get off work at 6 a.m. after a 12-hour night shift and drive from where I'm at to Fort Wayne. It ain't going to happen. I'm not going to be on the roads and putting other people in danger because I'm fucking nodding out. And you know what I mean? I'm dog tired by the time I get home.
What kind of work do you do? What kind of work do you do?
I work at a paper mill.
Okay.
I operate heavy equipment at a paper mill.
Well, I think
So I just wasn't going to get on the road and endanger nobody or, nod out and tear my vehicle up and, hurt somebody or run somebody off the road. So I sent every time I've gotten something like that with a 2-day freaking notice, their little game of sending it out a couple days before. So I don't have time to look for an attorney or find an attorney. All the attorneys are booked up or got other shit going on. I just sent an email to 3 different people saying I'm not coming.
Do you remember, to ask you this, of course you remember because it was a horrific thing that happened on February 13th. But do you remember where you were that day and how you heard about it? Was it your kids that heard first, or how did you?
No, actually, I heard it on the radio.
You heard it on the radio.
Yep, I heard that 2 bodies were found, and everyone in town at that point knew. I was in the vehicle when the announcement came out on the radio with my son Nick. Actually, we were coming into town from somewhere, and we were actually had camelbacks, water bags. We were actually heading up to the fire station to see if there might need to be any help. Walking trails, running through the woods, trying to help search. And blocks away, we were right out by the courthouse when the announcement came out on the radio. So I just made my left turn at the courthouse and went home, and the town turned into a ghost town for a while after that. It was pretty sad.
Patrick, will you re-verify when your DNA was taken? Was it last year or was it back in 2017?
It was just about a calendar month before the memorandum came out.
Okay.
Which was back.
So was that September?
Oh, the first one was last September. Yes.
Yeah. So it was in the beginning of August.
Okay.
And my DNA's been in a database for years. It was taken before I went on my first tour to Iraq in 2006. So, and like when I got my first felony charge, it was taken again. So, my shit's always been out there, but I gave it up to them the beginning of August. I'm sure they had that, and they had the polygraph results in their hand when they decided to fucking, accidentally file that memorandum public instead of private to the court. So they knew all this shit beforehand before they did what they did. I'm confident of it.
Now, me and you were talking backstage before the show. I got bombarded with a bunch of questions that people wanted to ask, and I sent some over to Kristen, and I took some, and we're only going to do about 6, 7, 8 questions because there's 16 questions, and I don't want to take up a whole lot of your time. But she went through the.
You can ask until we run out of time, but I'm not mad at you.
Okay, well that's fine. Kristen, do you want to start off?
Yeah, my phone died while we're talking, so you sent them to me through text, but I think I can remember the ones that we want asked. Or asked to him. He can choose to answer these. Patrick, if you choose not to answer these, this doesn't mean anything to me or anybody listening. He has the right to not answer any of these questions. I just want to put that out there to people.
Yes, and these first few questions, Patrick, is going to be referring to the Flora 4, the Flora fire.
The Flora fire?
Yeah.
Are you aware of Flora, Patrick? You are, correct?
Yeah, I lived there before I was in Delphi. Actually, that's where we originally moved to, and then we found out the place I was in, the slumlord, had black mold all over behind the walls and the floors and shit. And so me and my kids packed up and moved out of Florida, and that's when we went to Delphi.
Known for that a little bit, maybe the slumlord.
Oh yeah, there's a couple of dudes on a lot of slum properties, and they get away with the shit because there's no housing authority type.
Yeah, we know who that is for sure. we definitely do. So when you were living in Flora, were you aware of Galen and her girls? Did you know that they were there? Did you see them? Did you did you run into her at the gas station where she worked? And did you know the people that lived above her? There is rumor out there that you were friends with them or partied with them, and I just want you to be able to
clarify that if it's true
or not.
No, there wasn't anybody in Florida I hung out with, and there was very few people I associated with in Delphi. I'm not a big social bug. I don't like a whole lot of different people around me. Too many humans are snakes nowadays and conniving shit, so I don't tend to be overly out there with meeting people and shaking hands. And I could pass you 15 times, in and out of a laundromat or gas station or something and never pay you no mind or remember who you are.
I just want to thank you while I'm sitting here thinking about it for your service to our country. I'm a military wife he was in for 35 years. So I have a heart for my military veterans. You guys and everything that you guys did over there and all this stuff. I know sometimes it feels like for naught because of the way we walked away and got out of there. But I just want you to know that you guys, Frank is too. I mean, Frankmeister's a veteran. You guys, you gave up a lot.
Yeah. And see, we talked about this. We talked about this backstage. I said, there's some things of your beliefs I don't believe in, but besides that, I still consider you a brother in arms because you're a veteran and you served this country as well as I did.
Yep, absolutely. And like I said, I don't have to agree with your politics or your views on anything. That's not what we're here for. I just want to give you the thanks that you deserve for being over there and going through everything that you went through.
I do have to ask you this, Patrick. This is one of the questions you probably want to ask. Do you consider yourself racist?
No. There's, we got white, black, Mexican where I work, and we all shoot the shit and talk and laugh and joke, and there ain't a person in there who would probably fucking tell you that in any way, shape, or form. They've watched some of these videos and the shit people have made about me, and they come to work laughing their ass off about it. I mean, you think daughters should look like their mothers and sons should look like their fathers, and if that makes you racist, then people going to call me what they're going to call me no matter what I say. You sit there and put a lot of stock in these groups like the SPLC or the ADL. I mean, like I was mentioning to him backstage, these are liberal left-wing organizations. There is no moderate. There is no bias. There's no conservative and liberal in these groups. They're all liberal left-wing activist groups who've been given authority by the DNC to go after any political opponent, anybody who doesn't fit into their little shell of social justice warriors, and they can stand there and call anybody a Nazi, anybody racist. All these click paste little pictures people have me at this Trump rally down in Indianapolis back in the day.
Yeah.
That same article, that magazine, that the something report, whatever the SPL puts out 4 times a year, it's a quarterly magazine. If you were Republican or conservative in any way, you were a fucking Nazi. It doesn't matter how you believe, what you think. I mean, you could have mixed kids. You know, you could be Mexican. You know, anybody who was a conservative or Republican at that point in time, we were all Nazis. I was telling Frank, there's a group in California, a church actually, that gives out donations that they get to kids in need in their community and whatnot. And it don't matter who you are, what color, what nationality, where you're from, as long as you're a legal immigrant, a legal citizen of the United States, they won't give any of the money to illegal immigrant children. And the program's called like American Children First or something like that. The same magazine, they have me in there being some Nazi skinhead racist. They also have this church in there labeled as a Nazi racist hate group because they won't give their money to illegal immigrant children, only American citizen children. And if people want to take that SPLC bullshit and run with it, go ahead. I'll hold the fucking door open for you on your way out. You ain't going to find no pictures of me out standing around throwing no fucking Sieg Heils with a white t-shirt and red suspenders on. You ain't going to see me run around with some red armband with the big swastika in it. You won't find a fucking picture of me out doing anything pissed up like that. All of this shit is coming from a fucking liberal left-wing activist group. It's like running around saying Snopes was a real fact-checking organization back when they were in their prime. And that was the same group. Some liberal left-wing activists who were given authority by somebody way up the chain in politics to run around and shut down anybody they want and call them names. And there was no recourse. There was no proof needed. Somebody find me something that says, or pictures or anything out there. If I've been this big Nazi skinhead for all these years, fucking find something. I'll challenge anybody to do it, and they won't be able to do shit.
Hey, give me a second, Patrick. Ruckus Rocks is asking what kind of stogie you got over there. What's the say? Move it up a little bit. Upward toward your, there you go. All right.
Acid cigars, man. I smoke the blue acid cigars because the cream and spice infusion they have in the blue fucking absolutely make your mouth water. It's good shit.
Question that I think a lot of people wonder, and I think you may have already answered this, but feel free if you want to embellish on it a little bit more. How have you been feeling about what the hell this defense team has done to you?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to act like it's all roses and peaches and cream. It sucks. You know, when this shit first popped off, there was entire shifts at my work that were trying to have some big protest walkout plan that they didn't fire me and get me out of my job. You know, I'm a felon. You know, I ain't going to try to hide it. I don't give a shit how people feel about it. Finding jobs, places to live, it's not easy. State of Indiana, you have a felony, it makes life hard as shit. And, you know, having the kids that I got and the financial responsibilities I got, I can't go and be no whopper flopper or be throwing some nuggets over the counter at Wendy's. You know, I have to have a big boy job. So, you know, it caused a little bit of shit at my work at first, going out in public. You know, I hear whispers about Delphi shit, you know, being out in the grocery stores in public. There's really nowhere I can go anymore that probably somebody hasn't seen, heard, or something when it comes to that case, especially being this. I mean, I'm only an hour and 15 minutes away from Delphi at this point. So, you know, it's not like I've moved to New Zealand where they might not have heard of this shit. It's follows me everywhere and it sucks. I'm not going to lie.
I'm sure.
Made
I mean, I'm
things
sure
a
that,
lot
you
more
know,
difficult.
your name is out there.
True
yeah, and it's not out there in a pretty fucking way either.
No.
True Seeker, this is a bitch session and a Q&A tonight with Patrick Westfall.
How did your
Wow.
job treat you when this all came out? I
They
mean,
told every single one of those fucking people, if you walk out this door, your ass is fired. We're not getting rid of this guy. He's a solid worker. He does his thing. He's a good person. We're not going to sit there and run off on this tangent, straw grabbing episode of a couple of defense attorneys. You know, they told everybody you leave, you're fired, and you won't come back in here. So
awesome. I'm really glad that your employer stood up for you in this case. Because, like you said, with your history and you having the felony, you know, that they could have just easily just said, you know, we're not going to deal with this. We don't want the publicity for our, you know, for our business or
And not
whatever.
only that, Indiana's an at-will state anyway.
Yeah.
That's what's fucked up.
you know,
Yeah.
you imagine a handful of years ago when doxing was a big thing, all these little liberal fucks were getting a hold of everybody's employers and doxing people and, you know, threatening to come and protest, and all this black bloc Antifa idiots running around giving all these people grief and getting people fired. I mean, if this would have happened a handful more years back in the past, I easily could have been ran out of that place, and then I'd been screwed.
Right. Well, I'm glad you still have your job and that they've stood behind you. At least that's something through all of this, even though none of us can imagine what you're living through and going through, having your name associated with this case and the way it has been.
I'm going to ask you some Delphi questions. Do you know who Johnny Walker is?
Besides the alcohol, no.
Okay, well, that's Kathy Allen's brother. He's perished now. So, when's the last time you have visited the trails? These are questions that are being sent to me, so they're not coming from me.
Oh. You know, I think maybe 2018-ish, we walked out there to see where all the flowers and all the little gifts were left down there at the end of the trail where they had the fence blocking off just before the bridge. Me and the kids walked out there because, you know, I thought it'd be good for them when they asked, you know, somewhat kind of closure, and maybe it might make them feel better about the whole ordeal. So I took them out there and we walked down to the trail and stopped there at the fence, and they kind of stood there for a moment in silence, and we went back to the car and went out to the creek or something, you know, over Trailhead Park or something.
Do you have any kind of current relationship with Johnny Messer, Rod Abrams, or Ned Smith? Or do you know who they
No,
are?
only one of those three people I know, and then Messer,
Yeah.
that dude was an absolute shitbag. I never liked the guy the first time I met him, but I tolerated him just because he was, you know, on his way into getting ready to be a probate for the club back in the day. And I gave him the respect of that, but as a person, I never liked him. And I didn't like his old lady, even from the first time I met her. And after the shit they pulled with the whole bugs in bottles crap, conning restaurants out, dude, that's horrible.
Yeah, I remember when you were talking about that.
Once I stripped him of all of his patches and took all of his support gear and all that bullshit, I never heard another word from him about him. And that was a long, long time ago.
When was the last time you had contact with Brad?
Beginning of 2017, maybe, when I tossed his ass out of the house, when we found out, when his son texted my son and told him that they're getting ready to leave church and we'll be over there in a few minutes. And when Brad showed up, I confronted him about the whole church thing and figured out, you know, asked questions why he's at church and what's going on. And, you know, we had our talk about, and I told him, you know, either one or the other, there's no half in, half out. So pick which path you're going to go down, and I'll respect it. Just make your decision here. And he said, well, I'll just leave and never come back. And told him, there's the fucking door. Go, bro.
Susan Hendricks, former journalist for HLN, is saying she's saying sorry for what you've had to deal with.
Yep. It sucks. I appreciate it, though.
I just feel so bad for you and your kids. I mean, I just can't even imagine what they're going through.
Like I said, I'm an 80s kid. I got thick ass skin from, you know, grown up before cell phones and the internet and CDs and all that bullshit. So, I mean, I got thick skin because we'd sit around and cut on each other for fun, you know. But these kids are a whole different breed of humans than we were. So, you know, that's where my heart is with the shit that they have to go through. And they still got a lot of life ahead of them. My oldest will be 21 this Halloween. So, and my youngest will be 16 here in November.
You
So
have a
those 4
child
kids,
born on Halloween?
I got, all right, buckle up for this one. I got, my girl was born on Friday the 13th. 2 of my 3 sons were born. Oh, no. Nia was born on Halloween, and 2 of my 3 sons were born on Friday the 13th.
That's hilarious because I was born on Halloween.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yep. She's my Halloween baby. It was cool for her for the first, 10 years. Is always the dark fairy princess. And, she got to run around because everyone's dressed up on her birthday and people are passing out. But then after that, it's like, whatever, Dad, yeah, it's cool. And it's like, are you kidding me? I'm fucking 42 years old. I'd still love to have my birthday on Halloween. Shit.
Shit, my birthday is 4th of July.
Ever. It's
No,
the best birthday
no,
ever.
no. Hold on. I came into the world with a fucking bang. I'm leaving this world with a fucking bang.
Yeah, there ain't no shit.
So
my God.
me and you had a few discussions outside of the channel. You were emailing me for some documents and things. So have you gotten anywhere as far as finding an attorney or having any luck on anybody taking the case that you're looking at?
The extreme ends of the spectrum that these 2 asshole defense attorneys are willing to go to, the level that they're willing to show their ass in public, no matter how it makes them look, they have anybody in this goddamn state terrified to touch my case until this bullshit's over. And I only have a 2-year window to try to file anything against them. And the more they keep stalling this shit out and the more they keep dragging this shit out, it's starting to get disheartening.
It's what they hope for.
So,
Patrick, have you thought about
looking in other states?
I was just going to say, have you thought about looking outside of Indiana?
Yeah, I
would definitely look
3
in
major
Illinois.
cities, 3 or 4 major cities that are right on the borders of Indiana and Danville, Illinois, Chicago.
Right.
You got Cincinnati, Ohio, Louisville, Kentucky. I'm been calling firms in those areas to find someone who's dual state licensed.
Right.
But then there's the travel factor, the way these guys stall shit out and keep postponing shit. I got to find someone who can deal with that possibility that they might have to come up for an in-person get together, and then these 2 shitheads stall out and postpone just like they've been doing for quite a while now.
Yeah, it's their mode of MO, so to speak.
Yeah, there's like a goddamn whole bunch of prairie dogs or meerkats. You know what I mean? They're there 1 second, gone the next, just popping in and out and in and out. And it's getting ridiculous.
Do you know Elvis Fields?
No.
Never met him?
When I first heard his name, just to make sure, because I'm horrible with names, faces where I remember people at. And I had my significant other at the time pull up his picture on Facebook because I don't have any social media. I haven't for a while. And pull up a picture of the dude just to make sure. And I didn't recognize him at all. He's no one that's ever came around me or any of my functions or had shit to do with my kindred.
Right.
Patrick, what did you think about the defense going to spending $12,000 to go to Georgia to get that picture?
I don't see how they don't get in trouble for that kind of shit. That's such an absolute waste of money. Them dudes was down there buying bags of blow and hookers or something to be spending that kind of money to drive to Georgia and back. I can do it on 3 tanks of gas. I don't know what the hell.
Geez. I wondered because that picture, do you know anything about what was going on in that picture? Were you friends with Brad at the time that picture was posted on social media? I think it was 2012 or 13.
Is that the picture of
the body of the girl?
Oh, no. I thought you guys were talking about the picture of Brad standing there in the dark and everyone's got these torches doing a little. No, I had no idea. Brad, when I came home in 2010 or 2011 from that tour of Afghanistan, I didn't speak to anybody from my military unit for probably 5 or 6 years. It wasn't, I mean, me and Brad had only linked back up for a year or so before all this shit happened. And me and him went back to our own lives when I threw him out of my house. We'd only been back together for maybe a year. So maybe the beginning ish of 2016 is when we linked back up. And, you know, he had a hammer on, and I was asking him how in the hell he came to that decision in his life, and told me it was because of me, and watched me talk to the gods and shit before we go out on missions in Afghanistan outside the base at nighttime. And, you know, so we got to talking more about it and decided to, you know, start a kindred and what have you. And that didn't last long because he was living a dual life, and I don't do that shit.
Now, I did tell you backstage, me and you done talked about this too. We automatically assumed that this is all about money to the defense team. And we've been talking this for months, book deals, Dateline series, Netflix, whatever might come their way. But
they're literally just milking a fucking cow for money.
Exactly. And I told you at the beginning, the floor is going to be yours. You go at whoever you need to go at when it comes to this whole situation. It could be other creators that have been putting your name out there in a bad way, the defense team, whoever it is. And what would you like to say to all these people?
Nice try. Nice try, motherfuckers. Nice try. They ain't going to get what they want out of me. They can use me for all the sensationalism and all the clicks and all the supposed fame and glory they think they're going to get out of it, and they ain't going to get shit. I guarantee you. They're all going to wind up looking up one day from the floor when they fall flat on their ass. And then they're going to have to sit back knowing damn well that all the shit and problems and crap that they caused and ran their mouth about is all just a bunch of garbage that never had any basis, never had any facts to it. You know, the only thing that people have said about me that's true is I got fucking felonies and a background check. I've done some fucked up shit. I've been an asshole in my life. That's about the only truth to whatever these people have to say. Besides that, their little emotional soapbox rants they went on about me, and, you know, thinking that they got some kind of gold in their hand from this memorandum. And it's all just been a big fucking smoke show, and they're all fucking bigger idiots for it, especially that little Scottish troll, whatever the fuck her channel is, that she went on the most off the wall rant tangent you can imagine about me. And I actually had quite a damn fun night watching her videos once I found her channel. I want to call her Latrine. You know, you watch Robin Hood Men in Tights, The Witch.
Yeah.
Latrine. She looks like her, sounds like, I don't know her name. I just always call her Latrine because that's who she reminds me of, as the comic fucking relief off of the Robin Hood Men in Tights. But
that's funny. Well, not funny, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. I haven't really watched a whole lot of other people's stuff, you know. But luckily, without having to dig through a lot of other channels and videos about me, I bumped into Sleuth stuff really fast. And he never started on some emotional soapbox and just went up from there. You know, he started with his feet planted and grounded, and he stuck to the facts and the truth and what people know. And when people did get emotional and sideways on his channel, he'd fucking check them, you know, and nobody else would do that I'd saw so far. So that's what made me reach out to him to start with. But
are you willing to take some questions from the chat?
Yeah, I'll give it a whirl, bud.
Right,
not too many people's going to shake me.
I'm looking for some. So if
there's been a lot of people that are supporting you in here tonight, Patrick. I just want you to know.
I can see shit popping up here, but I'm too far away from my phone. I can't read them. I'll have to check them out later.
Patrick, we appreciate your service and your time. I've watched all of your interviews. You are forthcoming and consistent. I'm sorry that your life and family have been through all this. There's people out there that are on your side in this. I just want you to know.
Truth Seeker asks, why do you think Bradley keeps trying to implicate you? Why would he say Bradley? Rosie.
Oh.
Why would he say Abby was at your house until his ex-wife you did it if you're so scary, rather than be afraid of. He's talking about Brad Holder.
Okay. Why would he say Abby?
Because it has to do with Logan. Allegedly.
Yeah, because Brad supposedly last year came out and said, oh, by the way, yeah, Abby was at my house, or not my house, but Patrick Westfall's house, and supposedly told his ex-wife that you did it and you would kill her too, and she needed to keep her mouth shut. That's what's out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still, since I heard that, I'm still trying to wrap my head around that shit. Like, the man went overboard with his fear mongering of me to his ex-wife. I had no idea. Like I said, I never even met that chick. The woman before her I'd met, and I really wasn't happy being around her at all, figuring that she'd already screwed people in the military that he was with and shit behind his back while they were together. And I never got to meet this one because they were just starting to talk online before we had our falling out. But I have no idea where he gets this whole, I'm going to track her down and kill her and all this other shit. Why he would say that? I'm assuming the dude's an emotional guy. He's a little squid, spineless bastard, and mixed that with alcohol. And I'm sure he probably went off on some who else?
Right.
Yeah.
Have you ever met Abby?
Logan never had no company to my house. That awkward ass little kid, we couldn't even get him. I could barely get him to associate with my sons and my kids and my wife at the time's kids. Between me and my wife, then we had 7 kids, in our pile. We couldn't even get Logan to associate with the kids that were there, let alone him having company over my house. That shit never happened. That kid was an awkward little fucker. Really was. So can't tell you why Brad would go off on some shit like that. Like I said, it's just a squid shooting out little ink blots and shit, trying to get away from something by, clouding up the truth and taking focus off himself.
Have you ever met Abby?
Not that my daughter had handfuls of friends, and at her little birthday parties we'd have down at the Boy Scout cabin down there at Riley Park in Delphi. I met some of her friends, and then when all the girls came over before one of the proms, and me and all their moms got a bunch of pictures of the girls out in the street. I don't think she was in that mix, but I know my daughter would come home talking about her from school and, being out at City Park or Riley Park or shit like that. But I don't ever remember meeting her besides when she was in a car seat and my daughter was still in a car seat, and they were sitting side by side in the Frankfurt Armory hallway, before I even went on my first tour overseas. That was the only time I know for a fact I've actually laid eyes on that kid, and, that's who that was.
What is your opinion on what happened to Abby and Libby? Motive? What do you think the motive could be?
I really haven't been able to think of anything in my head that would make any kind of sense of what would cause shit like that to go down at the place that it went down, to the kind of people it happened to. Mowing on High Bridge Trail, I mean, everybody enjoyed that. You'd see groups of the old order German Baptists and Mennonites and the Dunkards and the Amish. Like, they would come there in big groups and stuff, and they would come out and sit on the benches overlooking the valley. And I mean, you'd pass every walk of life up and down those trails all the time. And it was just such a fucking picturesque place you could go to and hang out. Get some nature in your system. Never in a million years would anybody ever thought something like that could happen at that place, especially to the kind of people it happened to. I've never been able to wrap my mind around anything enough to try to even come up with something that made sense of why and who and what for, and just no tragic shit, man.
Patrick, did you know Libby's family or any family member? Did you have anything to do with Libby's family at all? Her dad, her mom? Did you know any of them?
No. The only people that ever I was around had to deal with my kindred, and there wasn't a lot of those people. And on the occasion when I would go up with the wife to like the VFW, and we'd have like the Valentine's Day dinner steaks and shit, and or go up there for watch people play darts. I never went out and met anybody. I've been to the office a few times, and but that was always with the ex-wife. And if I talked to any of those people, I couldn't tell you that I talked to them because I wouldn't know who the hell they were. I still haven't even seen pictures of the people, so I couldn't tell you.
Brandon Collins, you came in late. He was subpoenaed 4 times. He showed up for 1, walked in, and basically walked the hell out.
Oh,
basically told them to go fuck themselves.
He wasn't playing their game.
On record, told him this. So they had the voice recorders going when I told him this. So I hope that does come out at some point, because I cannot wait to hear it played back so I can laugh my ass off about it.
What is your opinion of Andrew Baldwin and Rosie? Do you have an opinion of these 2 men?
Bunch of fucking self-conceited ass. Now, I want to make one thing clear. There has never been a time in my life that I've ever had to go pay for an attorney. That's not the kind of fucking attorneys I would want right there. Those fucking dudes go hard in the paint when they got that passion and drive for something they believe in. Jesus Christ, those dudes go hard in the paint. And who doesn't want a fucking attorney like that? Granted, I've never been able to get one. They're all like, yeah. And once that fucking cash goes into a pocket, they go into fucking slump mode on you, and, just kind of lets you get rolled around the course. But besides that fact, those 2, them motherfuckers go. I got to give them their props. Those dudes are passionate, and they go hardcore even if they're in the wrong. Them sons of bitches, they've got horse blinders on, and they'll fucking run in the same wall 30 times if they think they can go through it.
We've seen that for the last 2 years.
The way that they're going about it, they're just fucking just dropping bombs as they're running forward, and they don't give a shit about the collateral damage or the fucking shit they're doing to people's lives. And for that, fucking them dudes are a couple shitbags in my opinion, and that'll never fucking change. And
as he
they got balls on them.
As he would say in the YouTube comment, he said, "Them fucking to your ass hats."
Patrick, Susan Hendricks from CNN, she used to be the anchor on CNN and HLN. She wants to know what message do you have for Abby and Libby's family? If you had something that you would want to say to them, what would it be? Because they're victims in this as you are. Because what the defense has done and is doing is so unfair to them as well.
There's no way I can say I understand or I know how anybody's feeling, with the treatment that I've gotten and kind of the same that these other people being thrown under the microscope and being accused and shit. That part I can understand, but the grieving on top of that, I could never imagine what it'd be like to be in those people's shoes. They're a hell of a lot stronger humans than I am. And I'm a pretty solid son of a bitch. I got pretty thick skin. And for them to just the amount of grief and everything compiled on top of the shit that they're being accused, just like I am, my heart goes out to them. It really does. If I ever got, just like I told the FBI at my house when they came to it the original time, if I ever got my hands on these people before they did, I'd make these sons of bitches pay and suffer at an amount that no human could ever understand. And I'd happily go to prison for the rest of my life to do that for them.
Brandon Collins.
That ain't no shit.
Brandon Collins is asking, so why did Amber Holder testify that she got Brad Holder into Odinism?
I have no idea about that. When I heard that the other day, I was actually able to go through my Google Drive and pull up a photo me and Brad at that Pagan Pride Festival in Fort Wayne, Indiana, where I was supposedly touching the tree at 4 foot and drawing runes on it, even though I was reaching up like 9 foot in the air.
Yeah.
But picture standing there, fucking Brad has a hammer necklace on, and he has a shirt with the Volk knot, the triple triangles on it and shit. And he had another, like a little piece of deer antler on a little necklace he made that had a hammer, like
right.
Yeah.
carved on it. I pulled that picture up, and those Pagan Pride festivals happen in like August. It's the same day, same month, every year they happen. So this was like August of 2016, well before our falling out. And the man had a hammer on then. He showed up to my house when we first reconnected with the hammer on around his neck. I don't know why she turned him on to, because she didn't. The man told me I did, and that was 2010 while we were in Afghanistan together. So I don't know why she would say that or why she'd believe that, unless Brad's just telling more fucking lies.
Wade Yates for Mr. Westfall. Has there ever been anyone you have encountered in any of the greater Asatru Norse religious community who gave the impression that they'd be capable of the crime committed in Delphi?
No. Even your Rokers, even your Lokians, and the bottom tier of gods is your Rokers, the dark ones. Loki's considered the kin, Kin, not kid killer, the kin killer, because I've said that statement before, and somebody turned around and he's like, oh, he said there's kid killers in Asatru. The kin killers, the brother killer. Even your Rokers, your Lokians and shit, they're still not going to sacrifice nobody in the name of any of the, like, Hela, shit like that. They're not going to do that kind of stuff. No one in Asatru. I mean, it's a nature-based bunch of fucking hippies.
It's like,
There's
aren't they?
nothing-
And don't take this the wrong way, because I don't mean any disrespect by saying this, but isn't it kind of like tree huggers? Don't they love
to a
nature?
point, yeah.
Love nature, right?
Our place of worship is outdoor. Heathens gets its term when you're out there and you see a clearing in the woods where the trees don't grow, and you can look up through that clearing and see the sky. That's a heath. And heathens were just people who worship their gods in those openings, the heaths, so they can see up to the sky when they're worshiping the gods. Pagans are fucking hippies. They're tree huggers. They're nature lovers. I'm an arborist all day long. I love fucking trees. I love nature. Don't get me wrong. I'll burn a tire just to piss hippies off and shit. But, there's just a bunch of glorified hippies who believe the original religion of their ancestors from, centuries ago. There's dark side and light side, just like there is to everything on this planet. But none of it ever has anything to do with making a human suffer, killing them. None of that. I've never met anybody that would strike me as that type of person. If they did, they were somebody that wasn't allowed to be around. You weren't even with our kindred. We had rules and laws drawn up, as every kindred does. They have their own sets, how they like to operate, how they like to do their ceremonies. People have to understand these rules while they're hanging around, because everyone in your kindred has to approve a new member. It's a family unit. It's called Frith. People, if your energy wasn't the same as other people's in there and they didn't like you and they voted you, you just have to go find another kindred and try to join. You didn't even hail Loki at my table. If you held Loki in my house while we're doing a ceremony or a ensemble or something, your ass is out the door faster than you can grab your fucking shoes off the doormat. We didn't allow any kind of people like that around us.
Sleuth Intuition's got a question for you. So do you think the date?
Sleuth.
He said, do you think the date 2/13/17 to Lupercalia, the placement of sticks or placement of Abby and Libby's body, Tarot or yoga, location Delphi Bridge, and time meant anything to the killer?
I heard someone going on about that. There's all these numerical coincidences and shit like that it actually was kind of impressive to hear that someone was finding all this information and putting all this together, but I've never thought very much about it. And I don't think I went back and actually really sat down and listened and thought through it as whoever it was that was explaining it. I can't remember the video or where I even heard it at this point, but I haven't put any thought into it. I don't. That would take a whole lot of planning. There'd have to be a whole lot of gears, a whole lot of cogs spinning together in order to freaking pull off some shit like that, at least in my opinion.
Ruckus Rock sent me a message, said he's got your back and he is absolutely willing to have a drink and a stogie with you anytime, bud.
I'm always game.
Miss Mala is asking if you believe it's a lone wolf and if Richard Allen is the guilty person.
Oh, lone wolf. I'm bad. I didn't even hear you right on that. You know, if there was more people behind, there would, in my opinion, there'd be more human error. There would probably be more physical evidence. There would probably be a lot more that the police would have to use and law enforcement and the prosecutor would have to lose, because it doesn't seem like there was a whole lot of anything so groundbreakingly, hands down factual that, you know, they've been able just to slam dunk and get this shit wiped off the table after all these years. The more people, the more chances something goes wrong, the more mouths that will open up, the more people that will talk, the greater your chances of getting caught. You know what I mean? That's
right.
Absolutely.
In my opinion, if you're going to do dirt, you do it alone. But
Patrick, were you ever out at the Monon High Bridge? Did you ever go out there?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a fucking creek that me and the kids would play up further up the creek around the, you know, if you're standing on the bridge out to the left, the way the water goes.
Yeah.
There's a spot there that me and my kids would go swim in. It wasn't the funnest spot because there's a lot of sharp ass slate stones, but we'd, you know, have creeking shoes on. We'd been out there a handful of times, you know, a group of us going out to play in the creek because we go out to Trailhead, play in the water there on the other side of 25 from Trailhead Park. There's a little swimming hole there. We go out to Monon High Bridge. Like, we were always outdoors in the woods and the creeks. I raised my kids feral as hell out in those woods and waters the whole time we lived out there.
TLS,
and I really enjoyed the bridge. Was a pretty place to go, and plus they had that really big monument there, the big fucking stone sculpture with the train. I thought all that shit was cool.
It is cool.
TLS is asking if you're still an active member of Asatru and still practicing, and that would be a yes.
That would be a yes.
GP,
I'll never give it up. I don't care who says what about it, what kind of light they'll paint it in. I know the truth of Asatru. I know what it's done for me and my life, and it connects me to my ancestors. It is the path home. It is who we are. It's where we came from. It's a way to connect me to my ancestors and my heritage. Like I said, my family's from Westphalia, Germany, and Asatru is German in its roots and its, you know, its core. And it's just another way to connect me to my ancestors and honor them and all their strife and struggle and all the shit they went through history, all the famines and wars and jihads, and they came out smiling and shining to come together and create a generation and a line of people that leads to me. I'll never give up on Asatru.
GP is wanting to know if you have ever heard of the CSAM problems around Carroll County over the years.
No. If there was any big CSAM ring thing going on, it's nothing that ever came to my ears.
Okay.
Honestly, no.
Patrick, will you explain briefly? You don't have to go into it in a huge way, but what is the Vinlanders?
Vinlanders was a social club that I was in, probating for, actually, at the time when all this stuff was going on in Delphi. It's a group of constitutional nationalists. It was a social club where people would come together and hang out a few times a year. It was just basically any other kind of like club that was out there, you know, like your MC guys. We was just a club like that, but we didn't have motorcycles. We weren't out riding and doing shit like that. There was really no mission statement of shit we do, how we do it. It was just a social club of a bunch of like-minded guys that got together. It was a club that, you know, for Europeans, it was, you know, all a bunch of white dudes in it. A lot of them were veterans. You know, when you get out of the military and whatnot, you miss that camaraderie, that brotherhood of
that you
people
have
like
every
that.
day, because you eat together,
Now,
you
when this,
sleep together, you're
I mean,
working together.
It's
Yeah.
no different than being in the military. No
Yeah.
when
different.
this club was first formed years ago, it was in a retaliation against the Hammer skinheads. And the Vinlanders was the yin to that yang. They would go out to like Hammer Skinhead Fest and start a bunch of shit and fist fight, knock a bunch of these dudes out. You know, they were at war with them for a while, but you know, around 2000, the whole dynamic of the club have changed from how they were to what it was when I got into it. It was no neo-Nazi skinhead organization. There was, you know, a few bad apples in the club that did some fucked up shit, and they got ran out accordingly really fast. But you know, it was all a bunch of, like I said, patriots, ex-military guys that were all, you know, more conservative, and you know, we swore an oath to the Constitution, not to the corrupt government that runs it. And for that, you know, once some shit happens in your past, you ain't going to change it. So it never stopped being a Nazi skinhead organization in the eyes of, you know, like I said, your SPLC and your ADL and shit like that. They don't matter how it changes or what they try to do to change the name. Once something there that's sensationalism, it'll always be there, you know.
Exactly. Yep.
It's like your police departments. There's good ones and there's bad ones. You have evil inside your fucking churches. You have good inside your churches. Our government has good and it also has bad in it, you know, but people don't hold on to that kind of shit like they do with the Vinlanders.
Yeah.
Laura is asking, clearly you're very proud of your Asatru, Patrick. What do you think of the investigation theory that the girls may have walked up on a ceremony in the woods, laughed, and that was the motive?
An Asatru ceremony?
Apparently that's what she's saying here.
If they would have walked past one of those, they'd have kept on walking and life would have continued on. There's no, oh, somebody saw us. I mean, shit, we done a few of our ceremonies right out in the middle of the park in Lebanon before. And you know, the shit's supposed to be done outside, and we're not doing we're not standing there in loincloths smearing goat's blood up and down our faces, chanting some weeble wobble one of us bullshit. It's, you know, there's nothing that can't be seen to the public eye. I mean, they literally have a huge fucking ensemble that they do every year in Fort Wayne in the middle of a fucking major park that spectators stand around and watch all the time. How many of them people come up fucking dead?
Patrick, where were you when this happened?
At home, I'd imagine. I remember sitting down with the FBI and we went through all the timelines and everything. And I'm not going to lie to you, it's been so damn long. I honestly don't remember the moment, the spot where I was exactly when the girls came up missing. I know I was in the car listening to the radio when we heard that the bodies were found, but beforehand, I'd imagine I was at home.
Well, your kids were out of school, right? And you would have been with them?
I know my son Nick was. I can't remember. My son Nick was with me when we heard about the girls' bodies being found, but yeah, there's been a lot of things going on with kids in the years since then. I can't remember.
And I totally get that.
It'll come out in the FBI report once all this evidence and shit's able to start being seen by everybody's eyes after this trial. People will be able to go through and look at all them documents and read the shit, and they're going to sit back and say, damn, that guy wasn't lying one bit about nothing.
Susan Hendricks says it's his business and extracurricular activities is not our business. Does he have an alibi? Well, yes, he has an alibi. According to the prosecution, he does. I appreciate him explaining, but he doesn't have to.
Yep.
I agree.
What you believe
I don't mind
and how you believe, what religion you are and what religion you practice has no place in this mix
I
of
agree,
things.
and they've shit all over the name of Asatru, and people have been building this religion back up and bringing it back into mainstream for years, and getting the stigmata gone with the shit that has to, the stigma gone that has to deal with heathen pagan religions. Because you say pagan or heathen, and people automatically, you got a ram's skull on and shit. You're doing all types of weird stuff, and that's not how it is in any way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? And all that shit we've gotten through with bringing it back in the mainstream and, back into today's society. And then these attorneys did what they did, and they have shit on all of that work. And now people are back to thinking that we're some kind of weird fucking human sacrificing mongrels that, scrape their living by eating nuts and berries through the woods looking for the next victim and shit. And it's so far from the truth. Asatru is fucking beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
People are afraid of what they don't understand, Patrick.
Yep.
People, it creates fear in people, and we can point to many things in our country and around the world where that's the truth, and people, point fingers at other religions and the way people live their lives or believe, simply because they don't understand it, and they can't understand it for whatever reason. And again,
Right.
as I said in the beginning, when I came on, you're not on trial here tonight. No, you don't have to defend yourself and what you believe in. There's just questions that people have had in the community, and we wanted to allow them to possibly ask some of those. But my feeling and what I wanted when I found out Frank was having you on, my big thing was I just wanted you to know that, yeah, there has been some horrible things said and done about you, about what you believe in, about your friends, everything. And regarding this case, and I do not support that. I think it has been one of the most horrific things that could have possibly come out of this. The fact that they named all of you in the Frank's motion was just, I was floored. I mean, literally, I almost fell
without
out of my
any
chair.
kind of proof or evidence, just
No
a bunch
evidence,
of straw
nothing.
reaching.
And I'm like,
You
if
guys can
any
keep
of us,
talking and I'll talk back. I have to go grab my phone charger. Just keep talking.
oh, you're fine. I was just like, if any of us, if that had happened to any one of us, we would feel the same way he feels. It's just,
Hey, Patrick.
It's just ridiculous.
Patrick,
Yes, sir.
have you ever thought about going to one of the memorial walks, you and your family?
Yeah, I have. I have honestly thought about it a few times. I would think I would be more taking the focus away from what the event is about by somebody like me being there. So I've been hesitant on doing it just for the simple fact of I don't want to take away from what the memorial is for, and it's for remembrance of those two freaking girls, and not, people taking their focus away, wanting to talk to me, wanting to try to grab pictures or some kind of sensationalism shit. And
right.
So I've steered clear of it. And
well, if you happen to change your mind, we've got a prayer walk for the girls on October 13th at 1:30 in the afternoon. You and your family are more than welcome to come. And I'm sure that everybody would welcome you with open arms, man. I'm pretty sure of it.
Oh, I feel that way too, because the people that go to this walk that we have twice a year, they're good people, and I don't think that they would look at you in a bad way at all. And you have every right to be there as any of us. You're, like I said, your kids knew the girls. Your kids went to school with them. So I mean, it's like, I think it's wrong that you are meant to feel that way, but I see why you do. I mean, I absolutely understand why you would feel that you might be a distraction, but I think that you would be, there would be people that would love to meet you and,
yes.
and, let you know that they're standing behind you in all of this mess.
Right on. I'll keep that in mind. not to go back on this kick, but one thing that floats through my mind a bunch when it talks about Asatru and people think, the whole death and stuff around it. Asatru is still very big, very thick over in your Norwegian countries, your Nordic countries and shit, your Scandinavian countries. There's not ever been anything in modern times, to my knowledge, as much as I dug through it, where there's ever been any kind of, it's as thick as Asatru is over there, there would be a hell of a lot of people coming up missing and killings in the name
Yeah,
of this
no,
religion.
exactly. It's not like they're killing people and sacrificing them,
Yeah, there'd
every
be
year.
dozens of people come up missing every year in those countries if Asatru was about human sacrifice. You ain't just going to make that many bodies come up missing and then not eventually cause a stink.
Patrick, did you look at the testimony of the Odin expert that was in court? And if you did,
No, I heard.
it fell pretty flat on the cross examination, but I just kind of wanted to know if you had any comments on it. But I'm sure.
I heard about it. I watched someone's video while they were talking about it, and the lady's apparently is an expert in shit, and she needs to put her PhD back in the Cracker Jack box it came out of and go find something else to fucking do for a hobby. Because, like I said, there's no factual basis. There's no factual basis to a fucking thing that puked out of that fucking woman's mouth. The fact that she was already convinced that that's what it was before she even saw any pictures or any evidence or anything, she was already convinced that this is what the case was and how it was. And even when asked if she was to be shown proof of something else otherwise, she was still like, no, this is what it is. It's definitely some kind of Nordic religious killing and whatnot, because there were sticks in the woods. And I didn't listen to it myself. I didn't listen to the back and forth or read the transcripts. I just listened to creators talk about it in its entirety, and from a biased spot in the middle on talking about how both sides were interacting back and forth. And you got to be fucking kidding me if this lady's an expert. She ain't an expert on shit.
Veronica says, I would love to go to the walk, but unfortunately, YouTube behavior scares me. He said, hey, I pack a fucking 40 cal every time I'm out there. Believe that. Because there are some loonies out there that don't like us, and you never know when they're going to show up.
Yep. And like I said, in Delphi, that would never have crossed anybody's mind ever. Like, we sent our kids out into those woods all the freaking time to go play and have fun, and I would join them as much as I could. But I mean, I was a busy man with that much on my plate, 7 kids around, and I had all 4 of my kids by myself. And then my wife had 3 of her 4 kids. And I mean, I was a busy son of a bitch. I really was. And it really throws you off. It does. Makes me wonder, how that would have turned in my life if that was one of mine.
Kathy, he's already answered this question, and it was a no. I'm going through the chat.
I probably should have set my shit up a lot closer so I can read the screen myself.
Well, that's it. We're at an hour and a half, and I know you probably got things to do, Patrick.
Yeah, I got a science documentary series that I've been watching. I need to get back to. I'm missing, my next episode of Futurama. So,
but
there ain't shit going on at my house.
We appreciate you taking time out and spending the evening with us. I know that it's not a great topic, and
I don't mind.
But we really are thankful that you were here, and I know that the community is happy to hear from you and see you. because I do believe that most of the people that are common sense type people that still have some realize that what you've been through is wrong. It should never have happened. And
Yeah, we'll still see videos tomorrow. Someone else is going to
oh yeah,
fucking screenshot, pick poke on this thing and go load
oh,
it up
they
on their
will.
shit and be like, look at him, the way he ate that Twizzler with his fucking left hand. That definitely means he's some kind of kid. You know, fuck that.
Yeah,
Fucking
whatever.
nerds.
But like I told you before, we're brother in arms, man. I'd be glad to go to war with you anytime, bro. Anytime.
Yeah, thank
Appreciate
you so
it.
much.
No
Thank
problem,
you
buddy.
for being here and answering the questions. I agree with everything that was said earlier about your consistency. I've watched your
Mannerisms and
your
all
stuff,
that.
and whenever you talk about this and all of this, you're always, I mean, yeah, are you rough around the edges? A little. You're a little rough,
Oh, yeah.
Patrick, around the edges. But you know what? You're always consistent in what you say about the case and answering the questions, and you do it respectfully. And so I commend you for that, because I don't know that I could be that respectful if I was being dragged through the mud in the way you have been.
Well, I'm going to reserve my energy for tracking down attorneys and shoving as much foot up these attorneys' asses as I can get over all this stuff, because it's wrong what they've done. You
It is
know,
wrong.
Hey, I got a
when it
question
comes to
for you, bro.
religion, when it comes to me, you know, I'm not the most starlit person in society as it is. No matter what I've tried to do and the way I've changed my life and the way I live my life, and what I do for my children, and the shit that's happened in the past between me and my children, just everything in general. And it just seems like you just can't get away from
Right.
people's opinions and mouth, and
we know
humans
that
love to see bad shit.
we know
Don't
that
they
there's going
though?
to be some type of status hearing coming up here soon, or another pretrial hearing. Man, you ought to show up to one of those and just be there.
Just sit in the back, Patrick.
Yeah,
You don't have to even
sit in
say
the
a
back.
word. Just sit in the back.
Right, bro. Show these
I've
attorneys
always
what-
wanted to, just so I can watch Brad Holder fucking squirm, that little Weasley spineless bastard, just sit there and fucking squirm, knowing he's back in the same room with me again, just to watch his demeanor fucking change, and that fucking,
Just remember, don't
put-
take any recording equipment with you.
right.
And if anybody hasn't
Yep,
already, please go over to the Floor 4 Memorial channel and hit that like and subscribe for me, please. Go ahead, Patrick. Sorry about that.
You're good, man. Say what you gotta say.
I don't think we're going to cover the documents tonight. A little late.
Yeah,
But we all know
what everybody needs to know is that Gold, she ruled this afternoon real quickly on the interlocutory appeal, and it's a no-go.
So
That's the polite way of saying it. The other way is she slammed the door right in their faces and put them bastards back on their ankles. I love it. I love it.
She did. That's not playing in here.
But
every time they reach out for that straw again, she just fucking smacks her hands like little toddlers. I fucking love it. I love it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, Patrick, if you ever need anything, brother, if there's any documents or anything that you might need, bro, don't hesitate to get a hold of me, because 9 times out of 10, I can get them.
Yep, I appreciate it.
All right, brother. But until next time, you guys know what time it is?
It is. Good night, you guys.
Good night. Hold on. I got to call out some people. All my mods, thank you. Thank you so much for hanging out. Got Old Lady Dan's $4.99 super sticker, not $4.99 super sticker. Tommy the Cat $1.99. Carrie $5. Curious Contrarian $1.99, and Grismatic with $1.99. And once again, to all the mods that hung out tonight, thank you so much. The chat was perfect. They didn't really have no trouble out of anybody, and that's the way we should have it in these chats, guys.
Absolutely.
But I love all you guys.
Good night, you guys.
It's good seeing you, man. Until next time, guys. Peace out. One love. Good night.